guilty little people. Wars. Hey, don't you shoot at me. Don't you shoot. I will shoot you back. Hey, what'd I say? Get out of here! This actually might be the place you can draw attention to yourself. Anyone named Ugly in here? No? Hey, look, guys, swimming pool. Look, dude, you don't even bathe, man. You're a giant and evil-looking slug. Hey, bro. Hey, look what it is. Hey, dude, how you like the statue? Huh? How you like it, boy? How you like it? Yeah, you stay in there. Don't you shoot me. I don't shoot at you. Die, ugly, die. Die, ugly. Whoa! I think I lost him. He dropped. Hey, Zip Boy, over here, man. Come on, get over here. Man, these guys are good to hide. They're good at hiding. Hey, you, this is what you get for shooting me. Oh, this is the thing where you drop and you die by a giant beast. Don't you follow me? I'm reporting you! I'm reporting you! Oh, shit, die. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I believe I can fall. Hey, watch my back, bro. Hey, you open up. Oh, look, they're in tension. Whee! Hey, Java, you need to rethink how you did the place, bro. It's ugly. It's ugly. Yeah, good idea. Yeah, that sounds good, boss. Oh. Get out of here. I ain't kill people so faster with my new bullets. Don't you kill me. I will kill. Oh, hey, bro. Thanks. Watch my back. Now, where are those little ugly pieces go? Alright, we got like 33 people up. Hey, you, get back here. Oh. I know, whack it. Prove that you hate him. I already did, so I know I hate her. Hey, what I missed, bogeys? Alright, well then, I'll do it. Die, bogey, die! Stay down, bogey. Stay down. I'm just gonna walk on the body so I kill someone else. One person. It's how you take the last person, boy. Before one of us gets to him. Yeah, called it. Now we gotta wait for the thing to interrupt it.
One minute, guys. 1 minute.
Lord, that's scary. All right. I'm so high, I never land.
Grab the seat. Grab the seat. All right. Hi, everybody. Hello. Hey, Jay, you look good in that sweatshirt. Yeah. So when I say like 1 minute, that's the time to go grab snacks, not, after I say everybody can grab a seat. But that's future reference. All right. If you want to move yourselves closer to one another, closer to me, that's perfectly fine. You guys way over there in the corner, though, at least like fill the gap in the chair. Once again, it's like you can pick your chairs up. I promise they will. One of my favorite sounds. Hey! Last call, anybody else need to squeak the chair? Okay. You know, there's people below us going, what is going on up there? Sounds awesome. Okay, what's going on this week? Cool stories. Who's got something for me? What you got, Riley?
I'm doing recruitment. Okay.
Riley is recruiting this. Fellas. Riley, this is actually pretty cool. Riley's recruiting some folks for something.
If you like anything to do with robots or anything just cool in general, I'm on team 7506 for FRC and FTC, and we drive basically 30 miles per hour robots, and I like BattleBots with 5 other robots, and 8th graders going to freshmen or anybody for seniors for next year. If anyone wants to join, check it out. CTC, it could be an AISD, or it could be outside of AISD, but it's a little bit different to travel. So, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Anything from programming, electrical to mechanical.
Riley taught a robot how to play basketball. Essentially, it's really pretty stinking cool. So, yeah, if you're into that kind of thing, you're just kind of curious, talk to him. It's pretty neat. Bailey.
Probably behind Baptist this weekend, and I got yelled at my customer yesterday. But,
Those two things don't go together, though, right? Oh, okay. Like you get yelled at about prom, or gotcha.
Someone didn't get their sauce, so they drove home and they drove back and they were refunding both counting them just because they didn't get any dipping sauce.
Wow.
It was a 12 crowd, it's like $5. Was it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, we always say half of our sauce, we don't have buffalo, we don't have sriracha, we don't have ranch. We're out of money mustard.
Hey, what do you
As long as you got Polynesian, we're good. If you run out of Polynesian, then you're right. Yeah. No, I'm with you. Okay. Actually, who else is going to prom this weekend? Bunch of y'all? Awesome. Good. Are you going together? Have you got dates? Do you? You just went to prom, right? Sweet. IHOP is awesome in the middle of the night. So actually, you know that. We've been to IHOP together in the middle of the night. It's a good time. So are you in Sydney? Are you embarrassed by the fact you're going to more than one prom?
A little bit, yeah.
Want me to make you feel better? You know how many proms I went to my senior year?
5,
4,
6.
6.
I knew a whole bunch of people, and I owned a tux, and like one girl literally brought me to her prom because she knew I owned a tux, and she was trying to make her boyfriend jealous. I didn't know that till I the rest of them know were just friends of mine. It was pretty weird. Yeah, like 10 minutes in, I realized what was going on, and
Did you not know until you got there?
no, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm so sorry.
yeah, it's like we're taking pictures together, and she's like eyeing her ex-boyfriend, and yeah. But the other 9 were super fun. So yeah. I'm actually going to talk about that later on a little bit. Not the 10 factor, but still. Yeah, I went to. So anyway, 2 is great, Sydney. There you go. So yeah, so you feel better now?
Yeah.
Good. That's great. I'm glad. All right. What else?
Done with safety exams.
Awesome. Very good.
If you rolled 6 past Monday and maybe from the week ago.
Which one's harder?
I don't know. Probably AP World because you have to write essays
Yeah.
in a very short amount of time.
Good. Who else took AP tests this week or last
I'm
week?
taking them too.
What'd you take?
It's economic.
That one was pretty interesting as
It's
well.
awful.
Yeah. What'd you take?
AP World.
That's okay. World too.
Physics.
Physics. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
Human. That's right. Human. That's right.
Calculus, it's all split.
I think Sydney wins. That calculus just sounds scary.
That's what you think, bro.
Yeah.
So half of us were like, oh, who's guessing? It's actually from.
Yeah. There you go. All right. Who else? Cool stories. What you got, Jackson?
I played for another team this Saturday, or previous Saturday.
Yeah.
I hit it for 'em last on Sunday.
I don't know. Again, those of you who know what baseball is, well, you know, I don't know what baseball is. You know how baseball works. What Jackson just said is incredibly cool. He just threw a no-hitter. Yeah, that's ridiculously cool. So, very, very cool. Yeah, if you don't know what that means, it means when he was pitching, no one took the ball off him. So, how many strikeouts you throw? And you? 6 or 7? Awesome. But you were putting guys down. Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool. Where are you going this time?
Not there. But a kid who beat me previously at a pro fight by rolling me off the stage. Like, not joking.
Yeah, I know I'm with you. I've seen the stage. I'm like, dang, that would not feel good.
He
So,
rolled me to the edge. I let go and they set us.
Okay.
So that was highly annoying.
sure.
I beat him twice, 18-0 once, and got the back and choked him.
That a boy. Good. So you officially have paid him back.
And then I was and like you
Yeah.
and
Good. Good, good. Anybody else? Cool start. What you got, Sydney? That's fun. Martha? Not bad name for a pig. Yeah. Yeah.
And then on Friday, we're inside the pigs, look at the heart and the brain and the organs.
Are you still smelling formaldehyde?
It's,
Katie.
so in my first semester, I missed out the dissection of a sheep part, so I got to stand on Zoom. But they decided that we're gonna dissect something soon. And so hearing about it makes me very excited.
Okay. Yeah, right. Say that again. How'd that go?
Really good.
Yeah.
For like $20, it's like less than $20. You get like a full duck of it. Really cool.
Goat is pretty good. That's good. That's good, good. What you got, Will? Hang on, guys. Hey. All right, dudes. Guys, like all of you boys over here, stop talking. Will's actually, thank you, Jacob. Jacob's pointing out the culprit. It's good. I think that's kind of like the spark thing. If you're the one that's pointing it out, it's probably you. So anyway, Will has a very exciting announcement for us.
I'm praying, and I get to go to
So we have our team of youth camp adults now, which is pretty exciting. They're all super fun. So if you're not signed up for youth camp yet, you need to be. If for no other reason, you get to hang out with Will for a week. It's going to be really good time. So I had another meeting about camp this week, and it really is going to be fall. Yeah. I promise. Okay, let's do some announcements, and then Kate's got a game for us. It should be a pretty good time. So announcement-wise, for starters, again, if you've not registered for camp, you can do that. We've sent that link out several times. Your parents should have gotten an email from me on Monday with all sorts of information about youth camp and kids camp and wilderness. I was going to say Wilderness Express. No, Wilderness Escape. Wilderness Escape. Wilderness Express would be an interesting VBS theme, though, too. Like we're going to the wilderness on a train. Type of deal. It'd be fun. Anyway, they should have gotten all sorts of information. But you can sign up for camp once you do that. There is still a little bit of space to go to Seattle. We are going to go to Seattle this summer. We're excited about that. That's just for high school students. Kids camp is just for high school students. But anybody can go to Wilderness Escape. We need all sorts of help with that. And then all of you can go to youth camp. We very much want you to do that too. Now, I keep saying this. I'm going to keep saying it until hopefully you hear me. If money is the only reason you're not going to youth camp, please, please, please speak up. Because I promise you, number one, you don't have to be embarrassed about that. I could never afford to go to camp growing up, so I promise I get it. But there's people that love to help y'all make that happen. So really, if money's the only reason you're not going to camp, you don't have to like say it in front of everyone. You just let me know. I promise to be taken care of. We'll get you on the bus to get you to camp, okay? That'll be really, really cool. So there's that going on. Bloom and Forge are back this Sunday. We took a couple of weeks off and various stuff. We're back this Sunday. We're excited about that. We're going to keep rolling through our creed study, which has been really, really cool. So come join that. It's 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock. It's just an hour. Really, really good time. Guys, we do a really quick workout. Girls, I don't know what y'all do. I don't know what y'all want to do, but they do their thing. Guys, we do our thing. It's great. Okay. Curly is still hunting for some worship leading people. If you haven't met Curly, it's Curly right here. Okay. Curly's going to work with worship teams. Curly's going to be one of our interns. It's going to be really, really fun. Get to know him. He's a good dude. We're asking him if he can go to camp. We're still working on him too. We'll see what happens. But he definitely wants to work with, if you're interested in leading worship, he would love to work with you. He's got specialties in all sorts of instruments. He's not a singer, but several of you are singers. And even if you feel kind of confident about your singing, promise you don't have to be the world's best singer. But he's willing to work with you, and we'd love to have youth lead worship every single week. As much as we love the adults that jumped in, like Miss Jess does it, it's really, really great. But it's even more fun for us when y'all are doing that thing. So talk to Curly. He's going to get you started, okay? And then last call, guys. I know there's well, for some of y'all, I think Amelia said she's done with school. Peyton, I'm assuming you're done with school. Grace Prep's done tomorrow. Today. Congratulations, Grace Prep's done too. So, yeah, 4 or 5 of y'all are done now. More of you finish next week. I heard something sad. Jordan, you said ACA doesn't finish for like 27. Yeah, so you might be the last person of us to get out of school. Sorry about that. Yeah, there you go. Still, she's last. So anyway, if you have concerts and games and stuff going on that they're actually allowing us to come watch, we want to do that. If they're just doing it online, I'm happy to watch online too, guys. Truly, like that's just. Even if I'm, at work, I've watched Riley do the robot thing while I'm at work, which is super fun. Yeah, it's great. We love doing that. So if you can't have fans show up at your games or concerts or whatever, shoot me a link and we'll watch it. But if you can have people come and watch it, Kate and I love to do that. Some of the other adults do too. So let us know what's going on. We'd love to come cheer you on. And then there's the phone numbers. If you don't have our phone number or prayer Mimi's, if you don't know what prayer Mimi is, she is a grandmother in the church that just loves to pray for the youth group. You can shoot her a prayer request. She's not going to ask you a bunch of questions. She's just going to pray. She might text you a week or two later and say, hey, I've been praying about whatever you talked to me about. How's it going? And you tell her, and then she's going to say, praise God, go on. She's just really, really cool. So Miss Susan's awesome. Here's another awesome young lady. This is my wife, Becca. Hi, Becca. Glad you're here. So, okay, Gatorade. You ready for your game? All right, cool. We're going to switch players. Jordan, you got the computer for me?
Okay, I need everybody to grab one partner and come over here. Grab a partner. When you have a partner, you guys are all going to form a big circle around me. Loop elbows with your partner, so I know who you are. Big circle around me. Circle around me. Circle. Circle. Loop arms with your partner. Link arms with your partner for now. There's some room over here. Does anybody need a partner? Becca? Need a partner? Okay, here's the deal. We're going to do this twice. I need you guys to listen. Does everybody have a partner? Does everybody have a partner? You guys are going to love this. We're going to do it once normally, and then there's going to be rules the second time. So just listen. I need everybody to hold each other's hands and face each other. If you're not comfortable with that, that's okay. So we're going to do a polka, okay? It's called the heel toe polka. So I have Katie and Jordan. Okay, come here. So what they're going to do, right there's good. So first we're going to start with their inside foot, and go heel, toe, and then what you're going to do, go over there. So yes, the inside foot, you're going to go heel, toe, 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody's gonna be right in the center. You guys are gonna bump into each other. It's okay. And then you're gonna use your outside foot. I go heel, toe, and go back out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Got it? Okay, we're gonna do it for real, just that part, okay? Not yet. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, in, and 1, 2, 3, 4, out. Ready? Okay, heel, toe, 1, 2, 3, 4, heel, toe, 1, 2, 3, 4. Everybody take your right hand. Right hand, we're gonna play patty cake. So then you go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, both hands, 1, 2, 3 on your lap. 1, 2, 3. Link arms. You're gonna skip around and then move on to the next partner. Got it? We ready? We'll do it all slowly. So you're gonna, hang on. Link your right arm. Here, real quick. You're going to link your right arm and go around once, and then the person you make eye contact with next is going to be your next partner. And then you'll go, make sense? It'll make sense. Okay, we'll do it slowly. Ready? Here we go. Ready? Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3, 4. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and spin. 2, 3, 4. You should be with your next partner. Ready? All right, go to your partner. We'll figure it out. Go to your original partner. Okay, Jordan, I'll count with you guys so you know where you are. Is this up loud? Okay, ready? Start it. Ready? Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3, 4. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and spin. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3, 4. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3, 4. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Heel, toe, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Two, 3, 4, heel, toe. Okay. You guys did great. If you still have a partner, you did great. If you don't find a partner, next time just find somebody. Okay? So everybody get back with their partner, or you can stay where you are. Get a partner. So here are where the rules come in, and this is where it gets complicated, okay? Okay. Kenzie, where are you? And then Jordan and Katie. Okay, you guys stand there. So you take your right arm when you spin. So just stand right there. No, Kenzie, you stay here. Look, so you take your right arm, you are going to spin once, and whoever you make eye contact with after that first spin is going to be. Yes. Does that make sense? Okay, so here are the new rules. Go back with your partners. If you come into contact with a member of the opposite sex, you can't touch. No, this is the new rule. If you touch and you make a mistake, then you're out and you have to go sit down. Yes, you still have to dance. If you stop dancing, yep, you can't hold hands, you can't clap. Okay? No clapping, no touching. Got it? Here we go. Jordan's gonna start the song over, and here we go. There will be a winner, so here we go. Ready? Heel toe, heel toe. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Heel toe, heel toe. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Heel toe, heel toe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Heel toe. 1, 2, 3. Heel toe, heel toe. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm gonna start eliminating people. If I tap you, you're out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Heel toe, heel toe. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Heel toe, heel toe. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Great job. The girls are the winners this week.
Check. There we go. Okay, if you don't have a Bible, grab one. There's some up front. There's some in the back. You're definitely going to need Bible tonight. Before we jump in, you guys want to hear a funny story? Yeah. So, Mr. Larry, the guy that cleans our room for us, who's awesome. He's been doing it for a long time. I genuinely have never heard Mr. Larry complain about anything, including when we've left pretty gnarly messes for him. In an effort to be helpful, last week he threw away our question box because the question box had been sitting on the stage for a few weeks and there were strips of paper there, and he really thought like it just looked like trash, so he threw it away. So I came to get the question box today, couldn't find it, and he's apologized to me every time he's sent me since then. So we have a new question jar, which by the way smells like chocolate because it was a hot chocolate jar. So if you write out a question now, it's going to smell like chocolate. So even if you write a lousy question, it'll still smell like that. Anyway, thankfully, I think I remember the questions that were in there from last week. If I did not answer your question tonight, resubmit it. I'll get you taken care of next week, okay? But there's 3 questions we want to answer, and then we're going to jump into our lesson. So here they are. The first one I actually mentioned last week. Was it last? Yeah, I mentioned last week. So we're going to do this tonight. And it was oral sex ? Anal ? Kinks ? What about places other than the bedroom? Again, just not complete sentences, but I think you know where you're going. So you're getting into kind of the specifics of, and I'm going to assume if you're asking the question, we're talking about married couples, because non-married people doing any of those things is absolutely not okay. Everybody should get that at this point, right? You're all on the same page? Beautiful. So here's the interesting thing about marriage. I'm going to tell you an awkward story now. So when Becca and I got married, we went through premarital counseling like lots of couples do and should. It's just really, really helpful. And so one of the very last lessons that you do in premarital counseling is the actual sex talk. And it's not like they sit down and explain how sex works, although it's definitely a little more detailed than necessarily our conversations are. Because there are some couples, like Becca and I, who had never had sex before. And so like we kind of know what we're supposed to do, but not really, right? Because we've never done it before. And so we're having this conversation. And the individual that was leading the conversation with him began to explain to me this verse from Hebrews chapter 12, where it talks about the fact that the marriage bed is undefiled. This is what it says. The marriage bed is undefiled. And he says, what do you think that means? And I said, well, I think that means like it's not defiled. And defiled is a bad thing. I was kind of nervous because, again, it's like having a sex conversation. And when you hear it, I was having this conversation with you, you'll understand. And he's like, what that verse means, he says, if you figure out how to do it upside down in the shower together, it's all good. I'm sorry, what? And he said, I didn't stutter. If you figure out how to do it upside down in the shower, it's all good. Now, the person having this conversation with me was my father-in-law. Yeah, super weird, right? Yeah, like I'm about to marry his daughter next week, and he's explaining to me this particular process. Here's the point, right? Yeah, here's the point. Those particular acts are fair game in marriage with a couple of caveats. Number one, and maybe the biggest one, is this: both people in the marriage have got to be absolutely on board with those things. It can't be like one person going, no, this is awesome and it's cool and Jesus said it's cool, and the other person goes, no, I don't want to do that. No, you're going to do that. That's not how that works, right? I will say, in relation to the anal sex particular thing, your body really wasn't designed for that. Now, some doctors will tell you that it's safe, and others will tell you it's not at all safe because you really can mess your body up in that way. And so I wouldn't go that route. But I also can't point to a verse that says don't do that, except to say that Sodom and Gomorrah story, sodomy came from that story. And remember, that's the idea of anal sex. Now, that was between dudes, but still, sodomy, I don't know that we can say that, sodomy is an okay thing. Again, biologically speaking, it's not an okay thing. But in the context of marriage, yes, here's what you need to hear. You've got lots and lots of freedom together. But the key there is together, not you two plus anybody else or really anything else. But otherwise, you've got lots and lots of freedom. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah. Okay, just there you go. Yeah.
I got it.
Thank you, darling. That's beautiful. Okay, what if a married couple doesn't want to have sex? Okay, and the gist of this question, remember last week we looked at the verses from 1 Corinthians where it actually talked about that the married couples are supposed to have. God commands married couples to have sex. And some of you are like, that's That doesn't seem like something God would have to command. That's like, somebody telling you, you have to eat your dessert, right? Okay, but the question was like, what if a married couple doesn't want to have sex? And I didn't get to ask follow-up questions, but I will say this. You really should take 1 Corinthians chapter 6 as a command, because it's not just like this isn't just an eat your vegetables thing, but it really is this protection thing that's in play there. But there are people on planet Earth that have no interest in sex whatsoever. And that might be incredibly weird to you, and if it sounds weird, that you're not one of those people, right? Those people that are wired that way, though, they're people that actually God set up to not be interested in marriage, and that's totally cool. The interesting thing about 1 Corinthians chapter 6 later on, it talks about the fact if you are interested in sex, you need to pursue a spouse. If you're not interested in sex, then you spend like the majority of your time serving God. And not that being married doesn't mean you're not serving God, you just serve God together. But anyway, it's really, really interesting. So all that said, yes, there are people that aren't interested in sex. If that's you, again, there are adults in this room, no less, right now, that's kind of their story, and we can get you set up, and like don't freak out if that's you. Now, I don't mean like sex sounds weird to you, like that, but just like you have no interest in that whatsoever. That could be, no kidding, like a gift that God has given you for something else in your life. So that's pretty cool. The last thing is, what gave sex its reputation? And it's just this question, if I remember right, was just this. Because I've referenced several times the idea of sex to the max. The reason why I call it sex to the max is because certainly growing up in the churches that I did, and lots of youth groups, and even long before me, basically all you ever heard was don't, no, never, no. And what happens is when you hear that no, never thing over and over and over again, something in your brain starts to think sex must be evil, sex must be wicked, sex must be weird. And sex can be weird, but it's not wicked, it's not evil in the proper context. So what happens is really, guys, no kidding, the scriptures, actually, let me show you something. I printed this off today. These are just New Testament verses, right? I'm not going to read them all entirely. It's 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 18. You've heard this one before. Flee sexual immorality. 1 Thessalonians 4, verses 3-5. This is the will of God, your sanctification, that you abstain from sexual immorality. Matthew chapter 5, verse 28. But I say to you, anyone who looks at a woman with less than sin has already committed adultery with her. Colossians chapter 3, verse 5. Put to death, therefore, anything that's earthly in you, sexual immorality being number one on the list. 1 Corinthians 6, the body's not meant for sexual immorality. Ephesians 5:3, but sexual immorality and all impurity and covetousness must not even be named among you. And there's 1 Corinthians 4 and Galatians 5 and 1 Peter 2 and Revelation 21. And that doesn't even begin to include the mountain of verses that come from the Old Testament. And the idea behind all of them is, if you're not married, don't do it. And so there's a massive emphasis placed on, if you're not married, don't do it. If you're not married, you don't do it. If you're not married, don't do it. And rarely, sadly, does it ever get talked about. But when you do get married, this is an incredible, beautiful gift. And it's not God up in heaven that's like mad at us because we abuse his gifts. Like his heart is not anger. His heart really is like, man, I love you and I want what's best for you. And you abusing this incredible gift I've given you isn't what's best for you. It's actually hurting you. So think less about God being angry at us. Think more about like a loving parent that's trying to call his kids from playing in the street. If your kids were playing in the street, if you imagine you're a parent now, if your kids are playing in the street, you wouldn't go, oh, that's so cute, right?
No.
Probably not. I don't know. Some of you are like, I don't know, my parents let me play in the street all the time, right? Yeah. You wouldn't go, oh, that's cute, this is wonderful. Or you also probably wouldn't go, it'll probably be okay. Chances are really good you're going to go, hey, I love you, stop it. And you might even holler at them, not even just out of anger, unless you tell your kids like 3,000 times, get out of the street. That's when our anger tends to creep up, right? But just like out of pure just emotion, like, I don't want you to get hurt. I'm trying to get your attention. Stop. And this really is how God lays this thing out for us. And so as certainly in the last probably 100 years, I can't speak to all of church history, but I've studied it enough in the last 100 years. That's kind of how sex has gotten its reputation. People that aren't in the church or people that are in the church and they only hear the no thing, their brain starts to compute like, this must be evil, this must be bad. And that's not the idea at all. Does that make sense? Cool. Thank you. Hayden, you're the man. All right, let's jump into this week's. Here we go. What's your line in the sand? Actually, all of you young Texans should know where this line comes from, right? Where's the line in the sand come from? The Alamo. Beautiful. I'm glad a few of you know that. Excellent. But the idea of the line in the sand is like I'm drawing this line. I'm not going to cross it, right? This is the standard. So when it comes to how you physically interact with people, I don't want you to answer out loud. I just want you to think about this in your head. Like, what's your line in the sand? Have you ever thought about kind of where your R is? Okay, I'm willing to be comfortable with this, but I'm not going to do this. So we're going to play a game here, and this is kind of fun. I call this the purple game. Just really, really simple. You're going to look at the screen, and I want you to tell me what color you see. Okay? So here we go. Okay, I got a bunch of purples. What'd you say? Light pink. Somebody said magenta. That was impressive. Is it Ed Gage? That boy. Good. He knows his shades. Excellent. Lilac. It's beautiful. Somebody say periwinkle? Okay. All right. What's this? Blue. This one's pretty easy, right? What about this one? Is it the same? Okay. Yeah. Okay. What about this one? Actually, hang on. Is there anybody in here that's colorblind and willing to admit it? So this game's really mean to you. Gage, you really colorblind? Oh, I was like, dude, that'd be awesome if you nailed that one earlier. All right, good. All right, what about this one? Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I should have. Basically, I'm looking for three answers. It's either pink, blue, or purple. Okay? Yeah. That is helpful to you. Although those of you that know the 150 different shades of each color, that's awesome. All right. So if you had to guess, this one's what? Blue. Very good. Okay. Okay, really gonna jack me to here, right? All right. Say it again. It's actually gray, but that's good. Very good. Okay, here's the point of this game. So you haven't heard me say this in a long time. In fact, I've not actually stated this rule in a long time, at least not like public. I didn't mean to close that. At least not publicly. So we have a just standard no PDA rule across the board here at the youth group, right? And that's just for everyone. If you're married, you have a little bit more rope there, but even married couples, we try them to rein it in, right? But no PDA. And this is where some people are like, man, that's not fair, blah, blah, blah. And it's just, it would be easy for me to say, okay, it's okay for you to do this, this, and this, but it's not okay to do this, this, and this. So it's much easier for us to just put a no across the board, just no PDA, right? Unless we're doing the polka, and we're willing to get a little bit of leeway there. Actually, we changed the rules on you there. If you were opposite sex, that's why Kate played the game. Yeah. So anyway, no PDA rule across the board. But here's the thing. Outside of youth group, when you're not here at us, and by the way, that really is just youth group. So like if I see you at Walmart and you're holding hands with your girlfriend, I'm not going to go, stop it, right? Because I'm not in charge of Walmart. Like when you're at my house or we're at a youth group function, that's kind of when I'm calling the shots. But I'm not in charge of your lives all the time. Like I'm not going to walk into your house and start telling you what you're supposed to be doing or not doing. Just when you're here and we're doing youth group functions, that's kind of the standard rule. That being said, it seems like everybody kind of has their own standard of what's okay and what's not okay. And that's even like inside of Christendom, right? You get outside of Christendom and things get really, really crazy. So our next slide, we got the line in the sand thing. And I call this the line principle because it's been really, really helpful for me over the years. Instead of trying to answer the question, is this okay? Is this not okay? Rather than trying to draw a line in the sand where we're literally like you've got all these lines here on the floor, right? So think about it in these terms. Over here is not okay. Over here is good. And as long as I stay on this side of the line, even if I'm right up on the edge of it, even if I'm leaning right over the line, but I haven't crossed it yet, I'm okay. But over here, I'm not okay. Right? We like to think of standards in that way, but I think when it comes to this sexual integrity thing, sexual purity thing, we really even drop that concept and just the idea of, am I heading in the direction of holiness or am I heading in the direction of unholiness? It helps me understand a lot better. Now, I do like the fact that this particular line of saying is kind of squiggly, and that's really where most of us are. Like some of us have really high standards in one area of life and maybe lower standards in other area of our life. But I want you to think about it in terms of this, is what I'm doing, whether it's in relation to sex, whether it's in relation to what I'm listening to or what I'm watching, who I'm talking to or what I'm reading or how I'm carrying myself or how I'm speaking, is what I'm doing right now, is it drawing me closer to Jesus? And is it drawing the person that I'm with or the people that I'm with closer to Jesus, or is it pushing them farther away? That's a heck of a lot easier to try to figure out in your own head and even to try to describe to others than it is just, yeah, this is okay, but this is not okay. It's okay to touch someone here, but it's not okay to touch someone here. Shoulders are okay, but anything below the shoulders is not okay. You see how it just gets hard to define? It really is. But so if you start to think to yourself, and I would kind of bring it back to the sex conversation, specifically when you're interacting with someone physically, is how you're touching or how they're touching you. Is it helping you pursue, certainly in your mind, sexual purity, or is it building up lustful thoughts? And I can tell you, for most human beings, and by the way, this is how God designed it. When you start to touch, you inevitably start to feel the sparks and the fireworks and the emotions that come with it. And actually, there's some really interesting biological things that go on in your head. We'll talk about this in a couple of weeks, probably. The way that God designed us, you girls in particular, but guys have this too. The way that God designed us, the chemical reactions that happen in our head that actually are designed to help keep people together. It's pretty cool, except if you're not married, it's not cool to have these things going on in your head. It's not ready for those things to happen. That being said, though, the way that you're leading people or how you're interacting with them, it really can. Maybe it's not doing anything to you, but you might actually be derailing someone else in their pursuit of holiness. And so you got to think about that. So here's a couple of great verses. I really like this. Flee youthful passions and pursue righteousness and faith and love and peace, along with those who call on the Lord from a pure heart. So there's a lot of cool things about that verse. Number one, it's not just, hey, don't do this. And it could just say, hey, flee youthful lust, right? Just run away from it. That's what flee means. Literally run away. Go in the opposite direction of things that build up lust in you. But he doesn't just say run away. He actually says run away from those things that cause lust. And it said pursue things that build up righteousness in you. Pursue things that are causing you to love Jesus more. And then he also says specifically, don't just do that by yourself. Notice how it says specifically, along with those who call upon the name of the Lord. There's this constant, and throughout the scriptures, this constant call for us to be involved with one another. And so find people who are going to help you pursue Jesus, and that would include the person that you're interested in romantically, but even just your brothers and sisters of Christ. Have them around you so they can help you make these decisions. Because I can tell you, when you're by yourself or whether it's just you and the person you're dating, all of a sudden things get a lot harder to see and think clearly about it because of those emotions that are going on with you. So you need people in your life to help point you in the direction of Jesus. And this other one's really good too. Above all else, guard your heart for everything you do. Wow, those words are a lot smaller than I realized. Everything you do flows from it. Keep your mouth free of perversity. Keep corrupt talk far from your lips. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Give careful thought to the paths of your feet and be steadfast in all your ways. Don't turn to the right or left, but keep your foot from evil. Again, this isn't like my idea. It's the idea. It's not about crossing the line one way or another. It's about heading in the direction of Jesus. It's really challenging. Go ahead. There's no other verse you remember tonight. Think about that verse. Take it home and kind of ponder that and see. Okay, that's really, really helpful. Can you give us thank you. Awesome. Okay, anybody know what you're looking at here?
Holy places.
Those of you who probably knows this. What was the Paul Park's nickname?
I love you, Madeline. I know.
I will tell. Yes. Check. There we go. Did anybody know what the ballpark's nickname was? The Temple. Yeah. It was close. Very good. Yeah. Okay. All of it, and I know again, architecture is subjective, right? There's some buildings people are like, wow, that thing's beautiful, and other people go, yeah, that's kind of ugly, right? Like for instance, I look at the Alamo and cry because I think it's glorious, and then people that don't understand, like, what's up with the old dusty building, right? Like, yeah. So I know it's subjective, but we look at these things and we go, wow, that's really, really pretty. But what's the point of these buildings? To gather. Good. Sam, you said to worship. What are we worshiping? Okay. Say again, Maddie? Okay, very good. So we're not worshiping the building, right? We're worshiping the one, the buildings who, and we're not worshiping the person who built those buildings, in this case anyway. But the idea is we're worshiping, that we're gathering together. That's actually really important. Hey, we're gathering together and we're worshiping the things that these buildings were designed to glorify. Everybody with me? So look at this next picture. Okay, very good. Yeah. Okay, now some of these celebrities are people that I've heard some of y'all go, man, he's hot. Actually, it's usually you girls, right? Guys are remarkably a little more reserved in this particular thing. These are all good-looking human beings. And by the way, I didn't just set this up for guys look at the girls and go, yep, they're really pretty, and for you girls to go, yep, they're really good-looking. Because, and girls, you know this, you're willing to admit this a little bit more than guys are. The truth is, sometimes we look at each other and go, man, I wish I looked like that dude. And girls, I know for a fact you do that. And I know that because I'm married to a girl, and I have a girl that's a sister, I have a mother that's a girl, and these are the conversations that I hear you openly speak about. I wish I looked more like her, right? And then there's this whole like body shape thing. So the ideal shape, supposedly for a woman, is the hourglass figure, right? So what does the scriptures refer to our bodies as? A temple. Very good. You're connecting the dots. This is a beautiful thing, right? Okay, good. So again, though, are the temples designed to be worshipped? Yeah. A temple is a space that's supposed to be glorifying the one it was dedicated to. So our bodies are what? So are our bodies supposed to be worshipped? No. Are we supposed to be worshiping each other's bodies? No. But we do that pretty well, though, don't we? Yeah, totally, we do. So again, you got this verse right here, 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verses 19 and 20. It says, don't you know that your body is a temple? So glorify God with your body. Our bodies really were given to us, not just for other people to gawk at, and our bodies were not given to other people for us to gawk at them, although there is a very normal, natural part. There are lots and lots of scriptures all of them where someone said, wow, she's really pretty, or wow, he's a really good-looking dude. Like that really is, that's sort of like baked into our DNA. We're supposed to notice each other. And so it's not bad to notice someone looks good or someone looks pretty that day or someone's just getting stronger or more handsome or whatever, right? Like that in and of itself really is innocent, and it's even kind for us to point those things out to one another. Wow, you look really, really. Man, Riley combed his hair today, and he looks really, really sharp. It's awesome, right? Yeah, man, because you look good, right? That's a good thing. But we totally can take that overboard, and we can even obsess over each other, and even more specific, we can obsess over each other's bodies. Or in some cases, we can obsess over our own bodies. And so I want you to think about this. I got these two phrases, guys. I don't want you to be a sexual atheist, and I don't want you to be a sexual idolater. And here's what I mean by this. There are lots and lots of human beings, and I'm going to assume this is not true of any of you because I believe the best about all of you, but there are lots of people that follow Jesus very sincerely, but when it comes to the sex issue, they go, nah, I'm going to do what I want. That's what I would call a sexual atheist. Now, you can drop the word sexual and insert whatever you want. Like, pick your favorite sin there and insert atheist there. It's the same principle. But it's just areas of our life where we go, yeah, God, I'm not going to let you have an input into this part of my life. So don't be a sexual atheist. When I say don't be a sexual idolater, though, what I mean by this is we really do. We make a big deal out of, wow, she looks really good. Wow, he looks really good. Wow, I look really, really good. Wow, I want to look really, really good. And we spend lots and lots of time focusing on those things. Even the idea of like self-care and self-love, those can be good things, but man, we go way overboard on them. Way overboard on them. So we make idols of ourselves or of each other's. That's truly, our bodies were designed to be places where we glorify God. That's our whole purpose in life, right? And we do that lots of ways, including, again, one of the ways that we glorify God is with our spouses and enjoying the things that God gave us, and including cool things like architecture and music and one another and polka and like the whole thing, right? But where we get tripped up so often is where we focus more on the creation instead of the creator. Like God gave us this stuff in order for us to say, God, you guys know how I feel about Texas, right? As much as I love Texas, what Texas should be, as great as it is, Texas should constantly remind me, like Jesus is the one that made Texas. And Lord, thank you so much for loving us better than the rest of the world because you gave us Texas and left everyone else out, right? Thank you for loving us that way. That's an amazing thing. But we can go overboard and go, yeah, I live in the best state on the planet, and just totally take God out of the equation. And sometimes it's real subtle. But that's what brings the same with your body. So don't be a sexual atheist, don't be a sexual idolater. So we go, what's the M word? It's that word masturbation. That's coming into the equation. Guess what? Some of you are like, whoa, you just said it. Yes, I did. Okay? This is absolutely part of the equation. If you don't know what that is, go home and ask your mom. Most of you know what that is. Most of you are wondering, hey, like, is that okay? Like, I'm not having sex with someone else, so like, it should be fair game, right? No. It's actually, you're still abusing God's gift of sex because the idea is all about self-pleasure. You with me? So you become, again, even in that, you become a sexual atheist or a sexual idolater. You're making a big thing out of just pleasuring yourself and not seeking to honor God in every aspect of your life. By the way, to masturbate means that you're thinking impure thoughts, or you have literally a brain that's broken because you're thinking about things that aren't sexual and you've turned them into sexual things. So, but yeah, that's part of the equation too. So if you didn't know this, yes, masturbation is definitely a no-no, particularly for how you think about it. But even the idea of masturbation, again, it's all about just enjoying yourself. You're not blessing other people. So don't be a sexual idolater or atheist in that account either. All right, you guys are doing great. So here's our motive. And we've talked about this a little bit left and right, and I want to just hit it straight on today, okay? Guys, love has to be the motive for us to be successful in this pursuit of holiness when it comes to our sexuality. And I don't just mean like isn't love part of the problem? Like I want to have sex because I'm in love with this person. I'm not talking about love for one another, although that is definitely part of the equation. I'm talking about love for God. Remember, I talked last week about how half, it really is, it's amazing, half, and it was the AP that did this study, half of the people that are choosing to be abstinent right now, they're doing it not out of religious fears or religious motivations. It's just like, I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get disease. I don't want to get pregnant. I just don't want to be tied down that way. Like that's why I'm not pursuing sex. It has nothing to do with God. Guys, as believers, our motive absolutely should be like, I just want to honor God with my body. Because my temple was given to me to glorify God. That's my purpose in life. And so my motive, again, like it's not like I want to do this because I don't want God to hit me with a lightning bolt. I want to do this because I love God and I just want to please Him. So, past this Monday, what did you guys do to honor your moms? Bought her stuff, made her stuff, left her alone. Okay, that's fair enough. Actually, I heard the moms go in the room, not a girl, right? Okay, did you do that because that's what you were supposed to do, or because you genuinely care about your mom? Okay, that's fair. Both. That's fair.
I mean, she told me she wanted to like honor her. I got what she wanted.
Sure. But the idea behind doing things that your parents have asked you to do, it shouldn't be just, I don't want to get in trouble, so I'll do this. When your parents ask you to do stuff, you do it because you love them. Right? Or even maybe they didn't ask you to do something, like you're following the standards they've set for you because you love them and you want to honor them and you know it's the right thing. This is how we honor Jesus too. when we pursue him and obey the standards he's given us. So I really like this quote. Again, there's a really tiny words. Let me read it to you. My point is this, that love is the most powerful motivator in the world. It spurs mortals to greatness. Their noblest, bravest acts are done for love. And the guy who wrote that, his name's really blurry. I'm sorry. I really like this acrostic for love. I think it's pretty cool. Living our values every day. I think that's pretty great. But here's the best one. Because if you don't know this verse, you need to know it's so good. This is Jesus speaking here. It says, Jesus said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. Some of the scriptures add with all your strength. But this is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is this, love your neighbor as yourself. We talked about pursuing God together, not just doing it on your own. Other people can help us love God more. In fact, that's how it's supposed to work. That's why we gather like this and not just try to do it by ourselves. There's so much encouragement when we meet in a room together like this and talk about the Lord. But the thing that drives us to obedience is not, I don't want to screw up. I don't want to be filled with shame. I don't want God to strike me down. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get her pregnant. I don't want to get disease. Jesus, I love you, and I want to do what you've asked me to do because I love you. And the reason why I love you, Lord, is because of this incredible thing that you've done for me. You denied yourself to the nth degree for my sake and for my salvation. So me denying myself even temporarily, even though it's really, really hard, is more than worth it to me because of what you've done for me. If you did that for me, I can do the same thing for you. And the beauty of this too is he doesn't tell us to do it by himself. His Holy Spirit lives within us to help us do the things that he's told us to do. But love is the thing that motivates us to do that, guys. Not fear. Fear is a motivator. Like the fear of failure, actually that's what causes anxiety, that's right. So we get so nervous about the STAR test or an EOC or a big athletic event coming up or your shoulder. Like you get nervous because you don't want to. Love's a motivator. The thing that causes, like, I'm just going to go out there and do my best. And this is like, I'm just going to, Lord, I want to honor you. And so even though it's hard, I'm going to do it. And however it turns out, man, it's for you. I'm doing my best. And God does, man. He loves that. All right, so let's keep rolling. Y'all are doing great. Golly, we're not going to have time to go through all these scriptures. That's sad. So I'm just giving you an example of several people in the Bible that were motivated properly when it came to this particular subject and were motivated poorly. Everybody on the left, they were motivated in holy ways to pursue the spouse that God gave them. So for instance, or actually Joseph was pursuing a spouse. He was the guy, remember, we're talking about Old Testament Joseph, not New Testament Joseph. Old Testament Joseph, remember, he was working in Potiphar's house, and Potiphar's house started hitting on him. Joseph was probably a 17 or 18-year-old dude living in this house. And the wife of this house, we don't know a lot about her except to say that she looked at Joseph. She was motivated by lust. She looked at Joseph and said, I want you. And Joseph said, I can't do that. And she pursued to the point that he tried to run away. She ripped part of his shirt off and he gets thrown in jail for doing the right thing, right? But he really was, like, he was motivated. And he didn't say, I can't do this because I'll get in trouble. The whole time he said, I can't dishonor my God this way. And I can't dishonor my master. He was talking about Potiphar as well. I can't dishonor him, and I can't dishonor my God this way. That was what motivated him to make that choice. That was really cool. Rebecca, she's the one, obviously, I'm a pretty big fan of that name, right? She was the one that Abraham's servant went to go pick out a wife for Isaac, right? And the whole time the servant's going, Lord, I'm going to need your help to pick out a spouse because I don't know what I'm looking for, right? I could just go like, hey, you'll do, or I could go find the prettiest girl. But he says, like, I need your help to guide me. And so he goes to this well and he says, okay, God, I'm going to ask the first girl I see to water my camels. And if she'll do that, then I'll know that she's the one. And that's a weird test, but whatever, it worked. Because sure enough, here comes Rebecca. And it does that she was pretty. And more importantly, is that she was single, because that was also a pretty important part of the equation, right? But not only does he say, hey, I have a drink of water, she gives him a drink of water, and she gives water to all of her camels, which would have been a significant, about this a few months ago. So it would have been a significant job. And this guy, Gehazi, he was so impressed with Rebecca's character. And that's what led him to say, That's going to make a good wife. It doesn't mean that it was unimportant that she was pretty. And it doesn't mean that like attraction is not a big deal. It's really, really helpful, but it can't be the only deal, right? Ruth and Hosea. Hosea's story, that's actually, I think y'all know the story of Ruth. That one's kind of interesting because it's a younger lady with an older guy. Hosea, this is the crazy one. Hosea's story is God came to Hosea, who's a single prophet. He says, hey, I want you to go marry a prostitute. And Hosea, rightfully so, said, I'm sorry, what? Isn't that like against everything you've ever taught me? Yeah, it is. But here's what. I'm going to teach Israel a lesson through your marriage. So some of you are going, that sounds really mean because this is not going to go well. Sure enough, he marries a prostitute and she immediately starts to cheat on him. Immediately. And she begins to bear him children that we think one of them was his, but we're not really sure. But the rest of his children for sure were not his. And he knew that. And it reached the point where actually his wife, Gomer, really funny name, she ends up in like sex slavery. And he has to go and rescue her. And he does. And they actually end up having a pretty great marriage because of the love that he displayed to her. But the whole thing started not because he looked at Gomer and said, man, she's really hot. I don't care that she's a prostitute. I'm just going to do that. That's what Samson did. Samson's life went terribly. And he literally looked at a prostitute and said, I want her. Mom and Dad, go get her for me. Hosea didn't want a prostitute, but God said, here's the person I want you to pursue. Go pursue her. Part of it's going to be hard, but it's going to end up being okay in the end. And it was. Hosea ended up having, it was an interesting marriage. Hosea ended up having a pretty good marriage in the end. Y'all know the story, David, Bathsheba, bad deal. He was driven by lust, right? That's no go. Again, Samson was not a good dude. He was super strong. God used him in incredible ways, but the guy was just a horrendous human being when it came to women. Really, really sad. Jacob was the guy that literally saw a girl and said, she's really hot, I want to marry her. And he actually, I think he did love her, but then, his father-in-law tricked him and he had to marry his sister as well, which is awful. And he ignored this girl for the majority of her life because she wasn't pretty. He focused on the one that was pretty, but really, like, pretty was the motive there the whole time. And then Amnon, this is one of the grossest stories in the whole Bible. Amnon rapes his sister because she was so beautiful and because he loved her. And it says after he raped her, that he hated her. No surprise, right? Guys, lust is never going to end well for you. If that's the motive, I can't say never. God can redeem anything. Truly. But that's a bad way to start a relationship. That's the only thing that you're into. Wow, she's really hot. He's really hot. We look really good together. Yeah, this is going to be awesome. Probably not. Okay? We got to watch for character. That's what matters, right? Okay, I'm going to stop there. This one it takes a lot of time to explain. We'll pick this up next week. Guys, you're doing beautiful. I'm so proud of you. I know in particular tonight we talked about some kind of icky stuff. Handle it really, really well. Thank you. I'm going to pray, and if you got any questions, you can throw it in the box. You can come talk to me afterwards, okay? Jesus, thank you for tonight. Thank you for our group. Thank you for those guys really are, they're handling this really, really maturely, and I'm proud of them. Would you bless them tonight? Would you help them to understand, above all else, would you help them understand your scriptures? If they forget the stuff I said, that's fine. But Lord, would you impress these truths upon their heart from your word? That's what matters. But help us, Lord Jesus, to pursue you and to seek to honor you with our bodies and to seek to honor you in how we relate to other people's bodies too. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to worship you. It's in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, guys. Love y'all. We'll see you later.
Hey, guys. Love you. Hope you're doing good. Shoot me a text message if you got a question, you got a prayer request. I'll talk to you later. Bye.